Well, hello there, how is everyone? I hope you're all well on this fabulous Thursday. And this is video 2 of 2. So if you haven't seen the first one, I suggest you go and check that out because, yeah, we talk about Steve Gonsalves and his recent interview with Brian Enton. And man, does Steve Gonsalves drop some bombs in that interview. And talking about bombs, you're looking like the bomb. How do you do it? Anyway, so we get straight into the meat and potatoes, as in this video, and I've got permission to talk about it. Me and Drip Drop are like that. But anyway, Drip Drop yesterday released a video where he talks about ladders and tunnels. And look, there's a lot of information out there surrounding the ladders and the tunnels. First of all, let's just touch on the tunnels briefly, because what I will say is, with regards to the ladder, I think even Drip Drop, and he is fantastic, he may have missed something. And I think there's a potential that even though he's brought our attention to it, he's overlooked something massive with respect to this ladder, and it could answer some questions that hopefully, if you've been paying attention, you will have. But anyway, look at the tunnels. So the tunnels, with respect of the tunnels, yes, there are a lot of tunnels around this area, and it's not uncommon. I showed a few weeks back multiple maps of multiple tunnels in multiple states, these steam tunnels. And in this area, in the video that Drip Drop does, he shows that there is a potential that there are tunnels that are accessible by the public. So, like, even the students could potentially get into these tunnels. And there's a likelihood that there could well be an access point potentially into one of these tunnels in the Idaho 4 case, the 1122 King Road. We see where Drip Drop is talking about the fact that this house most likely has a basement, and you would expect an access point to be in the basement. Now, whether that was sealed off, whether it's been closed down, we don't know that. There is a possibility. But what this does do is it brings a valid question as to whether this could have been used to access the property and not going through the slider. And this is why this is important. And this brings me on to the ladder situation, because what we're talking about is we've been pushed the narrative that Brian Koberger was the guy. But not only Brian Koberger was the guy, let's just even take that out of it, that we've got a perpetrator who enters into this property through the sliding door and leaves via the sliding door. And the reason why we believe that is the case is because Dylan Mortensen apparently sees a figure clad in black walk past her and head towards the sliding door. So that then becomes the narrative that this person has come in through that door and gone out through that door. But we don't know if that's the case. We don't know if that's the case at all. But look, so Drip Drop talks about the fact there is a ladder. He shows multiple angles of this ladder. I'm not going to go through the entire video because he does it, and he deserves you to go and watch that and go and check that video out in its entirety. But what I'm going to do is just specifically look at this piece of this video, and hopefully you'll get where I'm coming from. So what we're seeing here is Xana's bedroom window. So this here is Xana's bedroom window, and on the reverse of this wall is the wall with which we saw, sadly, blood running outside the property, where there was a gap in the floor and on the internal wall, and obviously that has led to it appearing on the outside of the wall. And what we're seeing down the side here is where that ladder sits. So that ladder is literally sitting down here, and which would enable someone to climb up onto this ledge here and to that window. Now, I don't think for 1 second that someone used that ladder to get into this window. You see out here, Drip Drop quite rightly said, there looked to be a bit of a red hue here. Now, we can't see anything more. This is the best this picture gets, but there does seem to be a bit of a red hue. We can't see why, and there certainly looks like if you come across here, that ledge seems to be there seems to be a disturbance here. Something seems to have happened outside there. Now, this is speculation. I'm not saying this is 100% what's happened, but there certainly looks like something could have potentially happened here. This element here that shows this kind of red hue, now that could have just been affected by the camera itself. There's nothing around it. There's nothing that would lead you to believe it should. This dirt on this side doesn't have that same hue. So it just seems a little bit unusual. But the ladder is here, and even on this edge here, that seems to be quite clean in comparison to even over here, where there is free from the mess. Anyway, I'll get to the fucking point, should I? Now, what do we know? I'll tell you what we know. We know, let me come back on screen. We know that from respect of what we've heard and the information that has come out, is that the door was jammed shut from the inside. I'm talking about Xana's room. And it would appear that they had to force the door open. And that it would appear that Ethan was potentially across the door and Hunter had to force the door open and peek round to see what was going on. That's the information that's out there. Now, if that's accurate, I don't know. That's just the information that we had, which to me, I always thought to myself, so that told me one of two things. Now, that told me that whatever happened in the room, and then potentially Ethan was still able to get to the door, potentially trying to leave, and sadly became deceased, jamming the door shut. Which then raised some questions. Obviously, was he able to make noise? Could he have banged on the door? Could he have been trying to rouse other people in the property? Which threw sort of more light, if you like, over at Dylan Mortensen's direction, because she was on the same floor. And I always thought to myself, how did she not hear anything? How did she not hear anything? But what if the perpetrator didn't actually leave through the sliding door at all? What if the perpetrator gets into the house and goes upstairs and attacks upstairs, Kaylee and Maddie, rouses Ethan and Xana, comes back down the stairs, and this altercation happens in the room downstairs, but then leaves through the window? Puts the ladder there. Is the ladder placed there to give an exit route? And if so, that does tell you that potentially this person knew exactly where they were going in that house, knew exactly what they were doing, and utilised that as an escape route. And now they could have opened the window from the inside, climbed out of that window, meaning they wouldn't have had to have gone back through the house, but left that, climbed down the ladder, and away she goes. Now, look, I am spitballing here, but if that's the case, then who did Dylan Mortensen see clad in black, dressed in black, walking out towards the sliding door? And again, I can't stress enough, I am spitballing. But for there to be a strange ladder propped up against the side of this property, right outside the window where two people were found deceased, and outside that window there seems to show some form of disturbance on there. Could be completely coincidental. But a ladder outside a window, a door that is jammed shut. That door, if that genuinely was jammed shut and they had to push and force that door open, then again, there's two options here. And that is at the point with which the perpetrator left that room, then the people inside that room were still alive. And they have gone over to the door and sadly perished on the inside of the door, jamming it shut. Or it had already been done and the killer never left that room that way. And that would also explain why there isn't any blood dragged all the way through that house. because we see one latent footprint, whatever it was, outside Dylan's door. That's what we're told, which would explain you coming from upstairs, downstairs. So the footprint there potentially is from upstairs. And it comes down, it's just the remnants of what was left on the feet. So there could potentially be upstairs more footprints, but then a latent print outside Dylan's door as they head towards the other room. But then whatever happens in that room, but then they don't ever come back out because they've left through the window. Okay, and I'm spitballing. Now look, let me know what you think down below. Let me know. Does this make sense? And if so, then why wasn't that ladder taken? Why wasn't that checked? Is it because they had that knife sheath or whatever happened and they decided that they weren't going to look in any other direction whatsoever? Nothing whatsoever. But wouldn't it be interesting? I can't say no more. This entire case bugs the shit out of me. You know it does. But that ladder should have been took away. Should have been checked. I don't even know. I don't even understand why it wasn't. Someone could have opened that window from inside, got out, shut that window back up, and been out and down and off that ladder, and away she goes. And that to me makes a huge amount of sense if that door on the inside, that bedroom door, was jammed shut from inside it. Do you want to know who won the hoodie? So the person who won the hoodie is one of our lovely subscribers, and that is Mr. Ken Dalton. Congratulations, Ken Dalton. You are the winner. So if you'd like to email me, the email is in the description of the video. And give me your address, and I shall get that sent out to you post haste. And I hope you enjoy your hoodie. Now, don't worry. For those of you who did not win, I'm doing another hoodie giveaway where you're going to be able to win a hoodie exactly the same as this one that I'm wearing here. Exactly the same. Spot on. So you'll look just like me. You'll probably look better than me in it, though. And that is going to be coming up in the next few days. So keep your eyes and your ears peeled. But until next time, I'm going to love you and leave you. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday. See you all in the next one.